I pulled some of this data to talk about. So in 2020, 92% of black voters cast their ballot for President Biden.
How many? 92?
92%. So only 8% for Donald Trump.
And that's huge, even with because
but
it's usually 95 to 97%.
But I don't think there's any. The only way you can find that level of partisan support is if you go into an American newsroom, which are 92, 93% Democrat. Berkeley, California didn't have 92% voting for. But here's what's interesting. Among younger African Americans, 18 to 49, this was from Pew. The support, the move right is now 17%.
Yeah.
And among all non-whites, there is a collapse in support. It's still majorities, but there is a collapse in support for the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
There's a big gender divide too here. So African American men, especially young African American men, are increasingly exiting the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
According to this was from the Survey on American Life. Growing gender divide. It was only 62% who said they are affiliated with or lean towards the Democratic Party. That means 38% of black men were saying in 2022 that they have moved away. That is down from over 80 to 90, pushing 90%.
Mm-hmm.
Is this is against the backdrop of Donald Trump, who, again, I think is a deeply flawed person. I want to talk about some of that with you because he's, especially as a Christian, as somebody who's got strong moral values, like he's a compromised guy in a lot of ways personally. But that's a transformational change to happen against the backdrop of what we are told is the most racist president we've ever had since Woodrow Wilson, although the left doesn't say that. They don't like to admit that he was the worst racist ever. But how do you? Yeah. What's going on there? What's going on that Mr. Horrible Orange Racist has presided over a period of transformation in the black community, among black Americans?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I'm glad you said that. We are diverse, even as black people.
I hate these terms, these giant monolithic communities. That's not a thing. That's not what community is.
You have said so much that is really good, and we can park on any of them and double click. But let me just see. Donald Trump, deeply flawed. Well, I'm deeply flawed as well. Right?
Well, let's set that one aside. Okay. I want to focus on what's happening with
the black community
in black politics. This has been a lot of this conversation. So what's happened?
Yeah. Exactly what we've been talking about. And yes, I saw it in 2020 when I started although in 2020 I was in a Republican primary. So generally the theme is when you're running, a political consultant would tell you, don't go into Democrat communities yet. Just focus on white Republicans. Go into all of these places. But I knew I was going to win. I felt strongly I was going to win. And so I was priming the pump for when I left the primary and went into the general. And plus, I wanted black people to know what it felt like to be wooed. This is what it feels like when a politician comes into your community and they believe what you have is of value to them and they want it. This is what it feels like, right? And so I was intentionally going into predominantly black communities. And what I saw in 2020 in these black communities, that essentially black women would not show up. Black women didn't want to have anything to do with me. And if I did walk into a room with them, they were primarily mugging me if they found out I was a Republican and running for office. Okay. But black men, their ears were perked. They were listening.
And the data supports
they were listening with their heart. And they were sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I would come in with the stats. I would come in with large graphs and I'd just sit it there. Every list that measures anything positive, black men are at the bottom of that list. Aren't you tired? Don't you want something better? Right? And then I would ask them questions. In 2020, we were having conversations about only black people don't have ID. right? So as a result, we should just do, I mean, like they didn't say white people didn't have IDs. They didn't say Hispanics or Asians didn't have IDs. They exclusively limited it to Black people. And I would say, open up your wallets. I'm not going to ask you for any of your money. I just want you to, if you have an ID, pull it out. And then I would talk to them about what the messaging is all around the world, that only Black people are so dumb and so lazy, that only we don't know how to go get an ID. Everybody else knows. So let's lower the bar so that we can help these poor people, right? And I said, but look at you. Now, there was one person who had an ID, but it was expired. And I was like, now go fix that. But you have an ID. So you know where it's located, right? This is the bar of low expectation that they only preserve for Black people. And what I saw in 2020 is what I told Vivek when he was running last year and we were on the campaign trail, is that, and I was the one who set up his meeting to go into the South Side of Chicago, standing room only, predominantly Black men. And I was explaining to him and to the team, Black men specifically are ready. They're open. But the Republican Party has to do a much better job and going into those communities, because I believe they're open. Now, are they going to go in and pull the lever? That's something to be decided. But they're open to the message like I have never seen Black people open to a message outside of the Democrat Party. But we have to be willing to go in and have that hard conversation. It's not scripted. Allow people to talk and ask questions and say it in the way that they want to say it. And then you respond to that in the most authentic self that you can bring to the table in that environment. And it was standing room only.
So,
and let me just say,
go for it.
Donald Trump, not the Republican Party. The Republican Party sucks at going into, the Republican Party talks every year about going into the Black community. The Republican Party has no intentions of going into the Black community. It has been Donald Trump who has been very specific about when he was in office in 2016. He was very specific in talking to the Black community, and he wasn't bringing Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Megan Thee Stallion to talk to the Black people. He brought in Black businessmen, and he came up with the plan, and he came up with opportunity zones that when implemented, they were actually improving the lives of Black people. He was deregulating, which is really huge. One of the 3 top industries for Black businesses is in the hair and nail salon, and the number of regulations that the Democrat Party has put on people who just want to sit in their home and braid hair. Donald Trump came in and reversed all of that. So these were very real, very tangible. This is how you show up when you think the people you're talking to have value. And that is what Black people, Black men specifically, are responding to. Not the gold sneakers, the gold shoes. That's what Republicans focus on.
I mean,
But he's talking about real ideas.
Donald Trump did get featured in a lot of the rap songs that you don't like particularly much.
Before they hated him.
Yeah, right.
He was a cool, every Black rapper aspired to be Donald Trump. Donald Trump rich, Donald Trump like, right? It was only when, and this is the, this is the power of the media, of how they can take something and they can mar it and sully it and, and cast doubt on it. And it also puts a spotlight on the fact that Republicans don't have a counterpoint to what Democrats are doing. And so they allow Democrats to set the narrative and to run with it. And that has not served us well.
To come to Trump. So my relationship with Trump heading into 2016 was kind of funny as a Philadelphian and somebody who spent a lot of time in South Jersey. I actually was technically an employee. So I waited tables at Trump Marina in Atlantic City for several summers. So I everything about him in 2016 was weird. It was like, wait a second,